Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. So, shall we start the class?
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, yesterday I was talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. So, this is a classical theory in marketing, a very famous theory. It's a very basic theory which tells about the needs. What are the needs of the people? This Abraham Maslow, he developed this theory. He is a psychologist, and he did a study on the needs of people, and he developed some set of needs. So he created a hierarchy, means from the lowest need to the highest need. He built the hierarchy of needs, like how in an organization you have um, from the lowest level employees, like from the peon level to the chairman level. So like that, he has built the hierarchy of needs in this theory. So in this theory, the first need or the basic need, according to Abraham Maslow, is the physical needs. What are the physical needs of people? He has said that is the first basic need. That is, people need to breathe, people need to have food, people need to drink water, sleep, etc. So that is the physical needs. So once their physical needs are satisfied, then people go for the next higher level of needs. That is safety needs. They want to keep their things safe. They want to take care of their health. They want to be secure in the job. So all these are the safety needs. So once the safety needs of an individual is satisfied, then he goes for the next higher order needs. That is need for love, need for affection, need for belonging. So people want family, they want friendship. So these are all the belonging needs that people go for once their physical needs and safety needs are satisfied. Then they go for the esteem needs. Once the people have got family, the like he person is married, he's got his own family, he's got his own property, house, and his things are safe, and he's earning well, so his physical needs, need for food, etc., is taken care of. Then the person will want esteem needs to be satisfied, where he wants to make a name for himself. He wants to get respect of others. He want to be well known in society. So that is the esteem needs. Then the last needs, according to Abraham Maslow, is the self-actualization need, where a person who has achieved everything, like his physical needs are taken care of, safety needs are taken care of, his belonging needs are taken care of, he has done well in his career, he's got a good name in society, then self-actualization need will be the last need, where the person will try to fulfill some hidden desire of his. Maybe he was let's take your example only. Maybe you were forced by your parents or by your elders to join MBA, but you may be interested in singing, or you may be interested in dancing, or you may be interested in some other thing as your passion, playing cricket or something like that. So then once you have well established in your life, you have settled down in your life, then once you have achieved everything in your life, then you will try to fulfill that desire of yours, where you wanted to learn singing, or you wanted to go for film acting, or you wanted to play cricket or something like that. So this is how Maslow's hierarchy of needs have been built up. So the next slide gives you explanation of each need. That is, physiological need, like I told you, is the basic needs of humans. So they want food, water, air, shelter, clothing. These are all the basic needs of people. Then safety needs, they take so many policies to take care of their health, to make their job secure, to go for a higher education, to make their home safe. They'll put CCTV cameras, they will put locks, and insure their house also, insure their property also. So these are all the safety needs which people take care. And then you have the social needs, like I told you, people want family, they want love, they want affection, they want friendship, they want social acceptance in society. So these are all the social needs. Then esteem needs are the ego or prestige needs. Like they want status in society, they want to achieve success in their career, they want to make a name for themselves. So that is the esteem needs. And self-actualization needs is where he wants to fulfill self-fulfillment, some desire of his where he wants to fulfill that and reach his full potential. So he may be wanting to be a singer or an artist or an Olympic star. So at that point in life, when he has achieved everything, he will try to fulfill that hidden desire of his. So these physical needs and safety needs are known as lower order needs. That is the according to Abraham Maslow, these are the lower order needs. That is the basic needs of people, physical needs and safety needs. Then the higher order needs are the social needs, esteem needs, and the self-actualization need. These are the higher order needs. Once their lower order needs are satisfied, they have got a good job, and which takes care of their basic requirements, and then they will go for the higher order needs, like making a name for themselves, achieving some respect in society, doing well in their particular field. And self-actualization need is when he has achieved everything in life, then he will try to achieve the most desired thing that he wanted. So I can explain to you about self-actualization with our example of our film star Ajit. Do you know this film star? He's, I think, a Tamilian film star. Does anyone know?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Yeah. So all of yeah, all of you know that he is a very famous film actor and all that. But do you know that he is into car racing also? He has won many awards in
No,
car racing. Do you know that? Are you aware that he has won many awards in car racing? Yeah, that was his desire. He once told in his interview that right from childhood he was very fond of car racing. He wanted to take it up as a profession, but this was before he became an actor. So he didn't have the money that time. He didn't have the money to buy a car and to go for car racing and all that. So he went into acting, because once he went into acting, his films started doing well. Then he earned a lot of money. Then once he became a very established film star, then he fulfilled this desire of his. In the age of 40 plus or something, he went for car racing and he won many car races, because that time he could afford the money. He had the money to buy whatever the cars and whatever training he had to undertake and whatever races he has to do. He did all that and he fulfilled his desires. So that was the self-actualization need. After he achieved everything in life, later on when he achieved everything, he felt that he had to fulfill this desire of his, where he wanted.
We are not audible, ma'am.
Yeah? You can't hear me? Sunil, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the example I want to give you for how a person achieves his self-actualization needs. So this is the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. This theory is used by marketers to find out the needs of their customers. So what are the needs of my customers, and depending on that, they develop products for them to fulfill the needs of customers. So but that is how marketers use this theory. They use this theory to find out, to do research on their customers and to find out which need of theirs is more important, and according to that they will develop products for them. So they position products and also reposition products in the market based on these needs. Position products means putting your products in a place in the minds of consumers. Like for example, you take Lifebuoy soap. It is positioned as a lower cost soap, which can be affordable by all kinds of people. The lower class people, the middle class people can afford it. So it is positioned like that, as a low cost soap, a Lifebuoy soap. But if you take Lux or if you take Dove soap, it is positioned as a costly soap, which is for the upper middle class and the higher class people. Those who can afford it, those who can buy the costly soap like Lux soap or Dove soap or some other soap which is a premium soap in the market. So this is how products are positioned in the market, in the minds of consumers, especially in the minds of consumers. So you take the example of nano car. All of you are knowing what is nano car?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So
Yes, ma'am.
yes, nano car. What was the price of nano car? The basic price.
1 lakh.
Yeah, 1 lakh. So for whom was it meant?
Middle class peoples.
Yes, it was meant for the middle class people and for those people who are having families and who are having two-wheelers only, who want to afford a four-wheeler. So for those people, it was positioned as a cheap car which would come in 1 lakh for those kind of people. So that is how positioning of products is done in the minds of the people. So repositioning is also a strategy which is followed by the marketers. Like for example, you take Horlicks. Earlier, Horlicks was just one plain Horlicks. It was there. It is the oldest product in the market. It is still going strong. The product is still selling in the market, Horlicks product. But how do they reposition it? Now it is repositioned in as not only plain Horlicks, it is positioned in different flavors. You have chocolate flavors, you have so many flavors in Horlicks, and you have women's Horlicks, you have family Horlicks, then you have junior Horlicks, like that. So it is repositioned. Horlicks has been repositioned in this way so that the customers will buy this product and the sales of this product will increase. So this is how repositioning of products is done by marketers, especially those products which have been there in the market for a very long time, and the sales has become almost saturated. That means no more sales is happening for that particular product. Then they try to reposition, they bring about some change in the product and reposition the product in the minds of consumers. So this is how Horlicks was repositioned, and now it is doing well in the market. There are so many other competitor brands which are there, but still Horlicks is still going strong in the market. So based on this Abraham Maslow's needs theory, marketers study the needs of consumers, and then depending on that, they develop their products, they develop their advertisements also, depending on the needs of their consumers, and then they do the positioning and repositioning of their products also by studying the needs of their consumers. So that is why I told you this theory is a very classic theory, or is a very basic theory in marketing, which is followed by most of the marketers today. So we will go to the marketing offers. Marketing offers is whatever the market is offering, the combination of products. Like it can be physical product, it can be services, it can be information, it can be experiences, which is offered as products to consumers. So product is nothing but a set of benefits. It is a group of benefits. A product which you are buying, suppose you are buying a cell phone, it is giving you a set of benefits. You are getting a group of benefits when you buy the cell phone. You will have the ability to make calls, you can browse the net, you can have more connectivity with people, so you can do so many things with your mobile phone. So this is the value proposition, the set of benefits which the marketer is promising to consumers is known as value proposition. So when they do advertisements, they will make many promises to the customers. The marketers make many promises to customers. So this is known as the value proposition. So the product is nothing but a set of benefits which is offered to consumers, and it is known as value proposition. This is what the marketers offer in their advertisements, and this is what the marketers promise to their consumers when they are advertising their products. So marketing offers can include tangible products and also intangible products. It can also include non-durable products and also durable products. So are you aware of this term? What is tangible and what is intangible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Can be
ma'am.
seen, actually is it tangible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what is tangible?
Which can touch and see, ma'am. We
Yeah,
can feel that.
yeah, you can see that, you can touch it, you can feel it. So that is a tangible product. So whatever your product, physical products which you are buying, which you can see and buy, which you can see for yourself, you can touch for yourself, all are the tangible products. So in the tangible products, you have non-durables and durables. Are you aware what is non-durable and durable? What is non-durable?
No,
Yeah, Sunil?
no, ma'am.
Non-durable means which has a very less life. It does not last for very long. That is non-durable. Like cosmetics, you take whatever cosmetics that is sold in the market, or toiletries like your shampoo, toothpaste, all these things, packaged food, ready to make food which is sold in the market, all have a limited life. They cannot be stored for a very long time. So they will get spoiled. Like you cannot keep it for a very long time. They have an expiry date and they will get spoiled if you keep it beyond the expiry date. So that is non-durable products. So durable products are all those products which have a very long life and you can keep them for a long time, like automobiles, your two-wheelers, your four-wheelers, your household appliances, whatever you use in the house, like fridge or mixie or washing machine. So many things we are using in the house. The iron box. Nowadays, after the lockdown, dishwasher has become very popular with Indian consumers to wash their vessels. They get a dish washer. So all these are the household appliances. So all these things have a very long life. You can keep them for a long period of time. So that is why it is known as durable. So those products which can last for a long time are known as durable, and those products which cannot last for a long period of time, which have a short life, is known as non-durable, like your milk products, your fruits, your vegetables. All these are called as perishable products. Perishable products means those products which will perish, which will get spoiled very soon. So all these perishable products will come under non-durable. So marketing offers include tangible products, which is non-durable and durable, and it also includes intangible products. Intangible products are those products which you cannot see, which you cannot touch, which you cannot feel. So your services, whatever services you are taking, like you go to the bank, you go to airlines, you go to hotel, you go by any kind of transport, you go to visit a place, tourism, you go to visit a place, you offer consultancy to business companies. So people are sold as marketing offers, places are sold as marketing offers. These are all intangible products. Sunil, mute your mic. So, what is the example you can give me of people being who are the kind of people who are marketed? Any example? No? See, politicians, they market themselves. Before election, they are promoting themselves only. So they are marketing themselves only to get votes, to get people to vote for them. So film stars, they market themselves. They promote themselves. So they become brand ambassadors for various advertisements. So these are the kind of people which are sold as products in the market. Then places, which are the places which is offered as product in the market? Can anybody tell me? Places? Yeah. Gayatri. Yeah.
Where it is highly population, ma'am. In
Population.
that place we can market. Yes, ma'am. In the
Places.
area which people will stay.
Which, give me an example where places are marketed as products.
Like exhibitions, malls.
Yes, exhibition, malls, tourism. Tourism, they will market different states. They will promote different places, like any tourist spot. They will promote in the advertisement. So these are all people and places which are marketed as products in the market. So this all comes in marketing offers. So you have tangible products, you have intangible products, and then you have the different types of intangible products, which is also marketed in the market. So customer value. What do you mean by customer value? Customer value is the value which the customer gets when he purchases a product. So when he purchases a product, he gets some benefit. So that is known as value. So what value he is getting when he purchases the product, and minus it from the cost that he has paid to buy the product, that is the benefit which the customer is getting, or which is known as customer value. So customer perceived value is before buying the product, the customer will have in mind that this is the probable value that I will get if I purchase this product. If he is planning to buy a mobile phone, a particular brand of mobile phone, then in his mind, he will be having some customer perceived value. He will be thinking that this is the value I might get if I purchase this particular brand of cell phone. So this is known as customer perceived value. So customer perceived value is formed when the customer has taken opinion of his friends, family members. They have told him about various brands of cell phone, what they have bought and what is their experience, or in the past he must have brought cell phones and his past buying experiences will be there. So based on all this, he will form a value regarding that product. That is known as customer perceived value. So marketing is nothing but value creation and value delivery. So that is the main task of marketing. They are developing products and they are selling products to consumers, which is nothing but value creation and value delivery to customers. Through these products, they are creating some value and they are delivering this value to customers, and in turn customers are giving them some kind of monetary benefit. So this is the example of value delivery. Companies which are doing value delivery, like Jet Airways is the first airline in India which started issuing boarding pass for tickets which are booked online. So earlier boarding pass is given only when the customer reaches the airport. After reaching the airport, after checking in, before getting into the plane, he will get his boarding pass. But Jet Airways was the first airline who issued boarding pass for those customers who booked their tickets online. So Federal Express, it's a courier company. So through their company website, you can track your courier parcels, where it has reached, what is its status, everything you can find out, you can track. So Federal Express was one of the companies which started this first. Nowadays, many post office, speed post parcels and all you can track. Other courier companies also you can track where your parcel has reached. But Federal Express was one of the first companies to start with this service free of charge, where you can track where your parcel has reached. So another example of value delivery is Virgin Atlantic. Virgin Atlantic is an American Airlines. So they offered value to their customers by picking up their passenger from their home, giving them the boarding pass in the car, taking the customer straight into the waiting lounge at the airport. Once the customer reaches their destination point, there will be another taxi taking the passenger to wherever he wants to go finally. So this is how Virgin Atlantic offered value delivery to their customers by providing them so many of these services free. So this is how marketers take care of their customers, because customers, they don't do only one time transaction with customers. They want to build long-term relationship with customers. They want the customers to continue to give them business. So they do many things like this to deliver value to customers, so that the customers become more loyal to them and they continue to give them business. So they continue to give profits to the company. So this is how the companies create value and deliver value to customers. Then we go to customer satisfaction. So when does a customer reach satisfaction level? When the product's performance meets his expectations. He will be having some expectations. He will be having like some idea that the product should perform in such a manner so that it meets my needs. So when his needs are satisfied by the product, then the customer is satisfied. So satisfied customers, they will continue to buy the product again and again, and they will tell others also about their purchasing experience, how happy they are with the product. They will tell many people. So if the customer is not satisfied, if the product has not met his needs and he is not satisfied, then he will not buy the product again, and he may switch over to another competitor's product, and he will tell others also not to buy that particular company's product, because he will tell others about his bad purchasing experience. So that is why marketers take lot of care to keep their customers satisfied. They do lot of research on their customers to find out their needs, wants, and demands, then develop products which is according to their needs, wants, and demands, and then they deliver customer value to the customers, so that the customer is satisfied with the product. He becomes a loyal customer. He continues to buy the same product again and again, and he tells so many people about the company's products, so he gets in new customers for the company. So like that, the marketer can develop and manage profitable customer relationships. So this is how marketers try to keep their customers satisfied, and they try to find out what are the needs, wants, and demands of their customers, and then they try to develop products which is suitable for their needs, wants, and demands, and they deliver value to customers so that the customers are satisfied and the customers develop a long-term relationship which is profitable for the company, and the company continues to get profits. So I will stop here now. So I had posted a message about January 26th. Is anybody interested in doing any event? Is anybody interested in doing any event? You can record it at home and you can send the recording to me.
Ma'am, can I know information about dance, ma'am?
No information about dance means?
Time, ma'am, timing.
Timing, it can
How
be
many minutes?
short, like, I mean, don't make it 30 minutes or something like that. Make it like 15 minutes or 10 minutes, like, keep it short. There is no particular, no direction that you should make only 5 minutes or 10 minutes video, nothing like that. It is up to you. You just record your dance or your song, or while you are making rangoli, you take a video of it. It can be 15 minutes, it can be 20 minutes also, no problem. And you send it to me with your name, caption, first time MBA.